In this video, we will take a look at Google Earth, one of Google's more powerful and diverse softwares that can be used for free or upgraded to a pro version. Unlike most of the Google Cloud apps, Google Earth must be downloaded to your computer and run off of your computer's hard drive itself. Once you open up Google Earth, you'll get a screen that looks similar to this. What we should first do is go up and click the Sign In menu in the top right-hand corner. Clicking the Sign In menu and signing in to Google will give you the opportunity to save and share all of your lessons and different activities that you can do within the program itself. There are a couple different ways to navigate through the software program in Google Earth. First, you can use your scroll button on your mouse to scroll in and out, as well as holding your scroll button down to kind of orbit around what you're seeing on the screen. You can also type in specific destinations to go to areas more quickly and efficiently. There are some pre-established tours within Google Earth for the beginning user just to look at some of the things that it can do. If you go down here and click on the tour guide, you'll see a film strip of different places all over the globe with a little number next to it that indicates the length of the tour. A tour is a short video that flies between different locations showing different information depending on the area you go to. If we click on, say, the Great Plains, we'll fly into the tour, which you can see is running down here. Throughout the tour of the Great Plains, it will bring up different photographs, which you can click on and will bring you to different places and different images from that area. Pictures aren't coming up in this one. In addition to the guided tours, you can create your own tours and customize tours for lesson plans or just different ideas of areas of the country that you can go and investigate. As you look at the screen, you may or may not have the sidebar open, which gives you an option to search out places, look at custom places or create your own places, as well as different layers that can be seen over certain areas of imagery. If you don't see this bar, you can click this Hide toolbar or Show toolbar, and you'll get that information up over here. Let's hide it for now, and you still actually have your search window and to see where you want to go. In this window, you can type coordinates, you can type specific places, or zip codes. I'm going to type in Bridgewater, New Jersey, and as you can see, we fly in, and if you look at the bottom right hand corner, you'll see the longitude, latitude, and elevation that we are at currently from this particular vantage point. You'll also see the imagery date which this satellite passed over this area and took this picture. Another really cool feature of this is you're looking at the imagery from, looks like September 18th, 2013, but if you go up here to this icon and click on Show Historical Imagery, you'll be given the chance to slide back and forth through the different imagery that was taken at specific times. In this case, the oldest imagery that was taken was back in 1990 for mapping software, no doubt, and you can see the quality has greatly improved in the images that you see from 1995 all the way up to current day when the last time this image was taken. I'm going to hide that toolbar for now. Let's bring back our sidebar, and if we zoom in with our mouse and then press our scroll button down and around, we can see the straight satellite image of what the satellite sees looking directly over the top. Remember, satellites can only see straight down and do not provide any depth to the image. If we zoom back out, get a broader view of the area, we're going to look over into our layers window. The layers window are different amounts of information that can be overlaid over the map you see depending on what you're looking for. Most common applications here are traffic, county roads, or boundaries for different counties. Let's go over here and let's click on Borders and Labels, and we'll watch the map populate with different areas in the area. If we click on a roads icon, you'll see now all the highways are now visible and show the which highway or road it is. The closer you get the more detail you'll see. If we back out again, we'll realize that on this layer we'll see roads from all over the state, but we have many different layers that we can activate. The layers are here and can be activated one at a time because there's so much information that if all of the layers were activated, discern information, especially if you're looking for something specific. And if we zoom out, you can see just how cluttered the map gets depending on what you're looking for. So we're going to take off most of our layers here. We're going to leave on roads, places, and photos. Now looking in, you can see different photo spots of different places. If you move in and click on those photos or shopping centers, you will get imagery from that location that pops up. This imagery often comes with information about when it was there, what was being done at the location, and different information about the picture, especially historical sites. Now if we zoom in a little bit closer, we can see we have a school and we have looks like solar panels on top, and we can get a very detailed image or a view of what we can see. If we zoom in further, you could see just how close we can get to a specific area. There is a limit which these satellites can go, mandated by the government, so you can't go too far in, but you can get pretty close with a great degree of detail, especially if the imagery was taken more recently with a better satellite. Google Earth has numerous classroom applications and can constantly be improved on depending on what subject area you're teaching or what you're trying to get across to your students. The interface by itself is very smooth, and the graphical representation of information is much easier digested and motivates the students to look more and more into what they're doing because it's very motivating. Now for my purposes, sometimes we want to model different buildings around the globe. We can do this a couple different ways, but we need some basic information such as an image of what the place looks like and measurements. So Google has a feature, Google Earth, that if you zoom in as close to the program you will let you, you can get pretty close and have a pretty zoomed in detailed image of what you're looking at. If I go to my top toolbar and take my ruler tool, I can set a line and measure it point to point, or I can move a line between multiple points and find out just how far it is between those points. We're going to stick to a line and we'll use feet. I'm going to start in the right hand corner of this building and move it over till the edge of what would be the classroom. If I click, the line stays and reads out that it's 41. Now this measurement could be ascertained other ways, but is done very easily from 114 feet. You could go on if you needed to measure the dimensions all around the school with fairly accurate results. You can then take that information, putting into different modeling software, and develop a realistic to scale model of whatever it is that you are measuring off of the imagery. As I zoom out a bit, we're going to talk about now. Place marks are a great tool that teachers can use to bookmark essentially this map with different locations. To place mark locations, you can come up top and press the Add Place Mark button from the toolbar. You can see the pin, literally a pin, can be moved around to different locations and dropped where you want the marker to go. We'll name this. And then you could add different information to it, change the color of the label or the actual icon on there. Instead of have a pin, you could load various icons into the program, where the pin is and the altitude that you're looking to it. We're going to go ahead and add a description. We're going to put a link into the site of this particular school. We're going to press OK. If you look over into your left-hand toolbar where you see places, you can now see that we have our pin with the name and the location of for the location of the pin, as well as a website to go for different information about this pin. This pin will be saved on your map as long as you are signed into your Google account from the top right hand corner. Saving multiple maps is very useful because you can create tours where you'd like to direct students to go to different places and find different information, pictures, and even videos of that location. Another great feature is the ability to not only create your own maps and save them, but also to look at maps that others have created and upload to Google. If we go over and click Earth Gallery, we will see a My Map screen with all types of different maps created for different areas of interest. These are great for teaching as the information is already there, and great for student exploration and to show them how they can make their own map of their own depending on the topic and subject they're looking to cover. Now, one of the coolest features of Google Earth, I've yet to show you yet, at least coolest to me, is a 3D building view layer that I have not activated yet. So let's do this. Let's go back up to our search bar and type in NYC for New York City. We'll fly up, looking at all the place marks we've seen that are marked, roads, labels, and everything else. Let's make our layers a little bit more clear, and we're actually going to take off the places, the photos. We'll actually leave the borders on. We'll take off the roads on, and let's zoom into downtown Manhattan. We can now see the island of Manhattan with the roads overlaid on the top of it, as well as other information such as shipping lanes, the tunnels underneath the city, and lots of other information. If we turn on all these layers at this point, you literally would not be able to see anything, as all of the information would be one big blur. If we zoom it a little closer down towards the financial district of Manhattan, and we take off our roads and layers, you can see very clearly the tops of the buildings and what the exact location for them is. However, Google has taken it one step further and turned New York City not into a two-dimensional model, but if we click our 3D buildings view, it is populated with three-dimensional models that are rendered with actual pictures taken by Google. If we roll around and zoom in a little bit, you can see the degree of detail that these models were built. They were built in a program called Google SketchUp, which was released worldwide for free, with one of the goals that users would take the information of the photos that Google provided, build these custom models, and then submit them for use on their server. And starting with the more popular places on the planet, going down to the less populated areas, the goal is to map the entire world in 3 dimensions. If we zoom in here on the Freedom Tower, you can see it is now completed. The imagery of this particular tower during construction was updated on occasion, and you could see the different phases of construction that they went through to create that building. Another great feature that Google included into the program is something called Street View. If we search out a new location, let's say this time it's Times Square, we should fly over, and you can see information about Times Square is already coming up over here, and it drops you right in the center of Times Square. Now, the view from above is pretty interesting. However, Google, through their never-endless innovation in technology, created Street View. And Street View essentially takes pictures of the entire city from ground level so you could see them. If we take our little icon up here from the right-hand corner, we drop them in the middle of the street, we're going to fly down into Street View. Street View is literally a picture of what New York City looked like at this particular date and time. You can move around and scroll to different locations, and each photograph is extremely accurate, and you can see trucks as they move by. And if you look closely enough, you could even see when the different imagery dates were updated, as there may be different shadows or different vehicles, even the clothing that people are wearing. As you can see, you can be literally standing on the street, crossing the street, and be on camera. Now, how do they get all these images? Well, they get them with this car, the Google Maps Street View car. This ridiculous looking car drives around with this three-dimensional camera and takes pictures of the streets all the way up top to the tops of the buildings for use of the imagery inside of Google Earth. If you look hard enough and around your town, you may even see someone you know or yourself on the front lawn watering the grass. Now, to get out of Street View, We will click on that exit street view, and while we'll still be back on the street, we're going to zoom up and orbit out with our scroll button until we can see more of the city. Looking at the building structures and different street views is great to use in classes so that the kids can see exactly what you're talking about and not just have to picture it in their mind's eye. Now, in the rare event you or your students aren't completely blown away with just a couple of these features you've seen, a couple more mind-blowing features are as such. You can come up here to this little globe and look at what they have mapped other than the Earth, sky, Mars, and the Moon. If we go to the sky, it will take us on a whirling dervish trip to the universe, center of the universe, or the center of our galaxy, I should say, and it's complete with constellations and different informations about all of these places, which can be very useful in different classrooms. This concludes this demonstration of Google Earth. I would encourage you to continue to explore and find the new features of the program that are constantly being updated as new imagery is being added. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.